all were dressing in one dressing room. Me, the Pips, and the band, and everybody. And they had dressing rooms lined up for her and the Supremes, right? So we didn't care about that. We're not drama like that.
Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul, recently shared a revelation that has left everyone in shock. Could it be about her health, or is it something from her music career? Fans have adored her for decades, but now there's news that has them truly concerned.
And when I got involved in my gambling, even though I wasn't hiding it, the casino is a very public thing, but when I talked about that, that seemed to be something that people couldn't relate to as far as being a part of my life or shortcoming in my life.
Why did she wait to share this news? And how is she handling everything? Let's uncover the details about what Gladys Knight has revealed and why it has everyone talking.
How old were you when you started?
4.
4 years old? Oh, really?
Gladys Knight, often called the Empress of Soul, was born on May 28, 1944, in Atlanta, Georgia. She grew up in a close family with her mom and dad, Sarah and Merrill Knight, who loved music. She also had one sister, Brenda, and 2 brothers, Merrill Jr., nicknamed Bubba, and David. Music was part of family life, especially because her parents were active in their church choir. This love for music made Gladys want to sing from a young age. By the time she was just 4, she was already singing at church, impressing everyone with her big voice. As Gladys got older, her talent grew stronger. By the time she was 8, she was winning awards for her singing. A special moment in her childhood happened at her brother Bubba's 10th birthday party. While celebrating, the record player broke, and Gladys, her siblings, and some cousins decided to sing for the guests instead. They sang so well that everyone was amazed. This gave Gladys's mom an idea. Why not turn their love for singing into a group? Gladys and her family thought this was a great idea, and soon after, they formed a singing group called the Pips.
What was your first record?
Every Beat of My Heart.
How old were you then?
I ain't telling you.
Okay. I was going to count it up.
The Pips started to perform at different events, and before long, people started noticing them. Their voices and energy set them apart from other groups. They even got a chance to record songs, which made them feel like stars. Later, the group changed their name to Gladys Knight and the Pips, with Gladys as the lead singer. This new name fit them perfectly, as Gladys's powerful voice led the group's unique sound. Gladys Knight and the Pips became hugely successful. They recorded many popular songs and sold millions of records. People loved their songs, and they soon became famous all across the country. As their popularity grew, so did Gladys's nickname, the Empress of Soul. This nickname showed just how much people admired her voice and talent. However, Gladys's life was not without challenges. She faced several personal struggles, including problems with gambling and conflicts with others in the music industry. One significant moment of drama came early in her career when the Pips signed with Motown Records in 1966. At that time, Motown was one of the most popular record labels, home to many famous artists. Knight has revealed that she didn't want to sign with the soul label at Motown Records. The Pips, her brother Bubba, and cousins outnumbered her, voting to sign with Motown in 1966. Gladys and the Pips hoped to rise to fame at Motown, but they soon encountered difficulties. Diana Ross, the lead singer of the Supremes, was also at Motown, and there were rumors that Motown's founder, Berry Gordy, favored her. This favoritism made Gladys feel overlooked, even though she believed she had equal talent. During an interview in 2015, Gladys shared a story about a performance where the Pips opened for the Supremes.
We all were dressing in one dressing room. Me, the Pips, and the band, and everybody. And they had dressing rooms lined up for her and the Supremes, right? So we didn't care about that. We're not drama like that.
After their show, Berry Gordy called her with bad news. He told her that they were causing trouble for his star act, Diana Ross. Gladys was excited to speak with him, but felt crushed when she learned they were being sent home from the tour. She later suggested that Diana Ross may have played a part in this decision, wanting to keep the spotlight on herself.
And by the time we came off the stage, our little road manager came back and said, "Mr. Gordy would like to speak to you."
In her tell-all book, Gladys spilled the tea about her beef with Diana Ross back in their Motown days. Knight revealed that Diana wasn't exactly a fan of her singing. The Midnight Train to Georgia singer shared that Motown big shot Berry Gordy and Diana invited Gladys Knight and the Pips to open for the Supremes, but things got messy when Berry hinted that Diana wasn't vibing with Gladys. We got a call from Mr. Gordy saying, "Well, I hear you're spoiling my act, the Supremes," Gladys revealed. "Well, Mr. Gordy, that's not what we're about, you know? We're just doing our show." Then Gladys said, "Berry gave her and the Pips the boot from the tour without warning. He said, 'Well, I think you guys should just come on back home tomorrow.' So we went back home, and that was the name of that game," recalled Gladys Knight. When asked if Diana Ross was ever mean to her, Gladys replied, "Well, I'm not a liar. I know that she wasn't the happiest with me. Let me put it like that."
What happened?
I said, "Really?" He said, "Well, I see you out there upsetting my act." I said, "What?" He said, "Well, you give me a little hard time, right?" I said, "Not that I know of."
What did that mean?
That meant that we weren't supposed to be doing as well as we were doing.
Gladys Knight and the Pips made a bold choice that changed their careers. They decided to leave Motown Records, where they had been for years, and sign a new deal with Buddah Records. This big move brought a new wave of success for them. That same year, they released some of their most famous songs, including the hit Midnight Train to Georgia. This song became #1 on both the pop and R&B charts, keeping them in the spotlight and growing their popularity even more. While they were already well-loved in the US, they also found great success in Europe, especially in the United Kingdom. Some of their Buddah Records songs became hits in the UK years after they first came out in the US, showing how their music could stand the test of time. However, by the late 1970s, the group ran into some legal issues. This led to them recording separately for a while, which allowed Gladys to release her first solo albums. Later, Gladys signed a new deal with Columbia Records and reunited with the Pips. They worked with talented producers Nicholas Ashford and Valerie Simpson on 2 new albums, and in 1983, they had another hit, Save the Overtime. It hit #1 on the R&B chart, their first time at the top in years. Unfortunately, issues within the group began to grow. Gladys felt that her brother was using the group's music for his own business gain. After a successful tour in 1988, the Pips decided to retire, and Gladys officially started her solo career. This marked the end of a long, successful journey together and the beginning of a new path for Gladys Knight. Now back to Knight and Diana Ross's feud. It lasted for many years. It seemed like it would never end. However, things changed when they finally had a chance to talk. Gladys said in an interview that they realized they were both young and going through a difficult time back then. In the end, they were able to apologize to each other and move on with their lives. In 2005, after 37 years of rivalry, Gladys confirmed that her beef with Diana was over. She shared that Diana often didn't like her voice, which wasn't surprising given Diana's diva-like personality. It's not unusual for big stars to have fights with each other, especially when they're competing for the spotlight. Diana was known for wanting to be the best, and that sometimes led to tension with other artists. Another part of her story involving feud was between 2 other music legends, Aretha Franklin and Dionne Warwick. This beef started when Aretha got upset over something Dionne said. Dionne mistakenly said that she was at Whitney Houston's funeral in 2012 and claimed she was Whitney's godmother. Aretha took this to heart and called Dionne out on it. When Aretha threw some jabs at Dionne, Gladys Knight stepped in to defend her friend Dionne. Gladys explained how different the 2 women are. She said, "I know my sister Dionne. It ain't nothing to her. Now Aretha is a little bit different. It's just one of those things. Everybody got their little knickknacks going on. Dionne is going to speak her mind and tell the truth, while Aretha is going to be sensitive and cause a whole lot of riffraff." Gladys was trying to highlight how Aretha often stirs up drama with others.
And we kind of grew together, and he did have that music right here and right here.
Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul, has had a life full of success in music, but her personal life has seen many painful challenges, especially in her marriages. Gladys's journey of love and heartbreak shows her strength and determination, even when life tested her repeatedly. Gladys's first marriage was at a young age. When she was just 16 years old, she became pregnant and married her high school classmate, James Jimmy Newman, who was also a musician. They started a family and she gave birth to a son, James Gaston Newman. Unfortunately, Jimmy developed a serious substance use problem, which only got worse over time. The pressure and stress became too much, and he eventually left his family. During this tough time, Gladys decided to put her music career on hold to take care of her son. She wanted to be there for him, even while her family's music group, the Pips, kept performing. Later, Gladys and Jimmy had a daughter, Kenya Maria Newman. Wanting to give her children a good life, Gladys eventually returned to music and started performing again with the Pips. In the early 1960s, the family moved to Detroit for a fresh start, but the problems in her marriage didn't go away. After being separated for 7 years, Gladys and Jimmy finally divorced in 1973. A few years later, Jimmy sadly passed away. Despite the pain, Gladys still believed in love. She married again in 1974 to Barry Hankerson, a music producer who worked with big stars like Aaliyah and Toni Braxton. They had a son together, Shanga Ali Hankerson, born in 1976. Sadly, their marriage was also troubled, and they divorced in 1979. The separation was tough, with a difficult custody battle over their son Shanga. Gladys won custody, but the experience was painful, and it affected Shanga as well. He developed an eating disorder, which worried Gladys a lot. Another hard moment was when Shanga was kidnapped as a young child. Gladys worked tirelessly to get him back, spending about $1 million in the process. This was a heartbreaking time, but it showed how strong and determined she was as a mother. Gladys did not give up on love, though. In 1995, she married again, this time to Les Brown, a famous motivational speaker. At first, the marriage seemed like a dream. Gladys admired Les's ability to motivate and inspire others. But over time, they realized they weren't meant to be together. Their marriage lasted only 2 years before Les filed for divorce. Despite their split, Les had a positive impact on her life. He encouraged her to write her autobiography, which was a big success and earned her a $500,000 advance. Reflecting on her life, Gladys has said that the challenges she faced taught her valuable lessons. She believes that tough times are like little tools to help us learn and grow. According to her, if we didn't face difficulties, we might never learn the important things in life. Gladys Knight has a beautiful love story amidst all the divorces. After 3 marriages, she didn't give up on finding love. In 2001, she married William McDowell, and they are still happily together today. Gladys often talks about how important love is in life. She says, "Love is what makes the world go around." I know it's a big cliche, but it is the absolute truth. There is nothing else like it. She believes everyone is searching for love in their relationships. William McDowell is 14 years younger than Gladys, and he helps manage her career. They work well together, which is not easy for every couple. Gladys shared, "A lot of people can't work with their other half. You've got to have respect and lift each other up." She admires William a lot. "He's the love of my life. When I first saw him, I thought, ooh, he's really cute."
She wanted to go back to, she said she's been doing this for decades, and it's always been unfair with the way they do African-American businesses.
They also have fun together. Gladys sang on one of William's singles, and they are helping build a community center through their charity work. Gladys says, "He does the business side, and I do the creative. We see eye to eye." When asked if she wishes she had met him earlier, she laughs and says, "I wish I could have. I wish I should have. All those things. He's amazing." Sometimes it takes a lifetime to find your true love. Together, they have a busy family life with 27 grandchildren and great-grandchildren to keep them on their toes. Gladys truly believes that love makes life richer and more joyful.
And when I got involved in my gambling, even though I wasn't hiding it, the casino is a very public thing, but when I talked about that, that seemed to be something that people couldn't relate to as far as being a part of my life or shortcoming in my life.
Gladys also faced a serious issue, a gambling addiction. For over 10 years, she struggled with gambling. Gladys grew up in Atlanta, a city known for its vibrant nightlife and gambling scene. Later, she moved to Detroit, Michigan, where her music career took off. Detroit is also famous for its casinos. Gladys was introduced to blackjack by a fellow musician, and she quickly fell in love with the game. What started as fun soon turned into a dangerous obsession. She often spent more time in casinos than anywhere else. In her autobiography from 1997, she described how the casino felt like a safe space for her. She wrote, "The pit bosses and dealers became my family. I felt protected. At first, the special treatment made her feel good, but soon it became a problem. Gladys spent all her money at the casino tables, playing blackjack and baccarat. When she finally realized how much money she was losing, she knew she had to make a change. It wasn't just about the money, it was also about her time. At that point, Gladys was already a mother and was spending more time at the tables than with her kids. One morning in the 1980s, she woke up late and realized she forgot to take her son to school after a long night at the casino. This incident opened her eyes to how gambling was affecting her family. She also lost significant amounts of money, $45,000 and $60,000 on different nights. Feeling lost and desperate, she knew she needed help. She started attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings, which helped her quit gambling and focus on her family and career.
Oh, say, can you see?
Gladys faced yet another challenge during the Super Bowl 53 in 2019. During Super Bowl 53, many people were upset about racial discrimination in the NFL, especially after quarterback Colin Kaepernick lost his job for protesting racial injustice by taking a knee during the national anthem.
Quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick says the league colluded to keep him off the field the past 2 years following his sideline protests beginning in 2016.
The Super Bowl was held in Atlanta, and Gladys was invited to perform. While she was excited, many fans questioned her loyalty to the Black community. One fan commented on her social media saying, "Love you, but I'm disappointed." In her defense, Gladys released a statement explaining her reasons for performing. She acknowledged Kaepernick's protest against police violence and injustice. She expressed her hope that her performance would honor the national anthem and bring people together. Gladys has always been an advocate for justice and equality, and she believed performing the anthem was a way to highlight these issues. She said, "I pray that this national anthem will bring us all together in a way never before witnessed." Despite the backlash, Gladys stood firm in her decision to perform, stating that her actions should not be seen as disrespectful. However, not everything in Gladys's life has been smooth sailing. Her son, Shanga Hankerson, became a topic of concern due to his legal troubles. Sadly, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison for not paying payroll taxes when he owned a restaurant called Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles, which he started in 1997.
The son of R&B singer Gladys Knight has been sentenced to serve 2 years in prison for failing to withhold payroll taxes for restaurants he opened in the Atlanta and Washington, D.C. areas.
Shanga was accused of failing to pay over $1 million in payroll taxes from 2012 to 2016. The IRS pointed out that he should have paid these taxes to help fund important programs like Social Security and Medicare. After pleading guilty to the charges, a judge sentenced him to prison and ordered him to pay restitution of over $1 million. The U.S. attorney made it clear that failing to pay taxes is a serious matter and all employers must follow the rules. Gladys Knight also faced challenges because of her son's actions. At one point, she removed her name from his restaurant business after discovering he was accused of stealing. Shanga fought back, claiming his mother didn't have the mental capacity to terminate their licensing agreement. Although Gladys didn't run the business, she allowed Shanga to use her name. Their relationship became strained when the IRS accused Shanga of theft and tax evasion. This led to Gladys suing her son and his company. Their licensing agreement lasted for 10 years, but after noticing Shanga's behavior was harming her reputation, Gladys wanted to end it. Shanga denied all allegations and claimed he had paid her for using her name in his restaurants. In the middle of these legal troubles, Shanga allegedly tried to use personal information about Gladys to his advantage. When she refused to give in, a judge ruled in her favor. Gladys said that her son's lawyer threatened to make her Alzheimer's diagnosis public if she didn't comply. She denied any claims about her mental health, stating that her son was trying to embarrass her. Gladys also faced personal loss. Her other son, Jimmy Newman III, passed away at the young age of 36 from heart failure. He had managed her career and was a beloved family member. Despite all these challenges, Gladys Knight's love for her children has never wavered. She worked hard for them and stood by them through difficult times. Her life story shows a woman of strength and resilience, with a heart full of love for her family and community. When it comes to her faith, Gladys was raised as a Baptist but decided to change her faith several times. In 1997, she became a Catholic. Later, she was inspired by her children, who left Catholicism to join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons. Gladys felt their passion and decided to follow in their footsteps. She was baptized and became a member of the church. As a fun twist, Gladys would sometimes tease Gordon B. Hinckley, the the president of the LDS Church, about the music. She suggested they should have a little more excitement in their songs. To her surprise, Gordon agreed. This led to the creation of the Saints Unified Gospel Choir, with Gladys as the director. She even led the choir during a big event in Salt Lake City, Utah. Gladys is not just known for her music, but also for her kindness and charitable work. In 2017, she helped raise $400,000 for the Children's Learning Centers of Fairfield County. This fundraiser took place at the Palace Theater and was co-hosted by Carol Ann Riddle and Alan Calter. It was a great event that showed Gladys's dedication to helping others. The legendary singer Knight started her farewell tour in the United Kingdom. This tour was meant to be her big goodbye to fans in the UK, giving them one last chance to see her perform live. Gladys wanted to make this tour extra special, so she brought along Tito Jackson from the Jackson family to perform with her. Even her good friend and fellow music legend Dionne Warwick made guest appearances at some of the shows. This tour was bigger and more exciting than her past ones. The production was high quality, with big screens showing special videos and animations to make the show even better. Fans could also buy a fancy program book as a keepsake to remember the night. During her tour, Gladys performed on a popular UK TV show, Later Out with Jules Holland, where she sang two of her famous songs, If I Were Your Woman and Help Me Make It Through the Night. Even though it was called a farewell tour, Gladys Knight couldn't stay away for long. She came back to the UK to perform again. Gladys Knight's success goes far beyond her tours. In 2022, she was given one of the United States' highest honors, the Kennedy Center Honors, which she received from President Joe Biden. That same year, she sang at a special dinner at the White House for a big event called the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. Even though she has said goodbye many times, her passion for music keeps her coming back, proving she will always be a legend in the world of music.